So, got some good news, we got some bad news. Good news is, the bike is running. Went through the tank and the carbs, pretty much did a carb kit. Runs, starts with choke and idles when it's warmed up without it, so it's good enough for me. One of the big problems I had though was that rad cap was leaking, and it made me think like the hoses or the clamps were bad. So just always replace that rad cap if the bike's been sitting for like 5+ years. We're running pretty much for the most part all the original coolant lines except for a couple at that plastic housing. We replaced a couple of those. So flushed it, put some good coolant in it, doesn't overheat, which is perfect. Guess we'll just go on to the bad news. Might not see it from this angle, but here's the money shot. Zoom. Some paint transfer, some hard lines. This is where it originally got scuffed super bad, but did some body filler and some sanding. Bunch of stories and went into that. Bunch of work. So maybe a paint correction guy knows if this is correctable or not. Hit me up, let me know. But not much I can do about that besides cover it up with stickers. So yeah, we even painted the top of that. You see a little bit on the top, but not from far away. So that's about it on that. Now for the final things we did to this thing to get it kind of roadworthy, we had to add obviously a plate bracket because the fender was deleted. We added light smoked lens sockets back there too, but this light is too bright for its own good, so let me switch the key on, show y'all. So we got that light on, and it's gonna look all right. There's our signals working inside of the tail lamp assembly. It's pretty cool. So even got these eBay signals as well, sequential LEDs. So you will need a load equalizer wired in, which I have them mounted to the radiator grill. So yeah, it's all pretty solid. We needed a new pipe after we went down, so we ordered these from eBay too. The way we got this set up was took the original muffler, cut it somewhere along that midsection, the pipe cutter, got an adapter, and we had a local shop weld the junction. And since we have the clamp attached to the rear set, we're not going to be running the springs. I know it can kind of like shift and turn a little bit, but these are not turning. They're extremely solid. And got about 3 millimeters of clearance from the swing arm there on that side, and like 5 or so on that side. It's pretty much let you guys be the judge if they're even or not. To me, they look pretty even. They slant about the same on each side. Give you that good side angle here. Yeah, I think they turned out safe. So I actually don't even know what they sound like. I haven't started the bike since I've gotten it, so yeah, get you that side too. Well, that's pretty much about all I gotta show you, besides maybe some of you are wondering about this. There's an attachment here. It's a little 10-bar meter. And what this indicates is fuel level, because Kawasaki in 2007 was like, no, you don't need a fuel gauge. And a lot of people tell me you don't need a fuel gauge because you can just check the tank, right? But not when you're riding. So I'm not gonna stop, take the key out of the bike, put it in the tank, when I can have this tell me exactly what it's at when I'm using it. So how do we get this set up? Well, I'll show you real quick. Got this down here, and underneath the tank, instead of installing a sending unit at the top of the tank and having a bunch of wires exposed, we actually decided to use the bung for the petcock. This is a sending unit, It was like 15 bucks or some shit like that. It's for a Prince Edward scooter. And the biggest part of this was getting it to seal. We tried a bunch of different stuff like gasket maker and whatnot, but this is basically some cork layers, some Velcro cork, and a couple of rubber washers underneath the those screws there. And make sure your screws are the appropriate kind, because some can leak directly through the metal itself. So I forget which kind of a name they have for those bolts, but yeah, whatever, ain't leaking. A lot of people told me that I would never be able to get this to not leak, and trying to make my own fuel delivery system would be impossible. And those are from people who consider themselves master techs, believe it or not. But this is all done in my garage. So for your fuel delivery system, it's not even too complicated. We have a CPP easy rivet bung installed to the bottom left-hand side of the tank. Fuel line travels across the top of the cylinder head. Kind of warms the fuel a little bit, which is good. Warm fuel and cold air. It's the best for power. So let me get to the other side and show you. Here we are on the other side. That fuel line comes across the top of the cylinder head, shut off, more fuel line across the bottom of the intake tubes to the other side, correct side, and feeds the carb gravity style. Shut off is really good if you don't have functioning floats, but we just replaced them so they're working. It doesn't leak any fuel into the intake or, you know, into the air box. So yeah, everything's solid. If you guys want to see how this thing sounds, I just get a single comment. I will absolutely drop a sound clip of the 250 with the custom Chinesium exhaust. So yeah, until next time.